talk about consent and like teaching young men about consent and seeking consent, um, valuing, and again, this is true of people of all genders, but with this conversation, thinking of EM and, like I mentioned, women in particular and young girls who are targeted for harm and violence, like valuing women's bodies, their voices, their lives, that's the foundation upon which guys can then value consent.
Totally.
If you're not valuing your own humanity as a guy, right? Because I think a lot of them are indoctrinated that, especially within that culture, this is a team, we are one, bro. I hate the phrase "bros over hoes" and all that kind of,
Yeah.
that mentality is really drilled in to the point where the hazing rituals are sometimes uh, exposing them to sexual harm as a mechanism to kind of make them bend to the will of that this is, we are one, we are a team. This kind of really warped, really messed up perspective. So if that's how they treat themselves, how are they going to treat women and girls? So to kind of segue into the conversation about consent, right? Talking to the jocks, the mans, the bros, athletes about these conversations. I want to read this quote here. If I can pull it up. It's from Teen Vogue. I apologize, I forget who wrote the article, but regarding Cassie Ventura and the Sean Combs trial,
Yeah.
this isn't a story about bad choices. It's a story about survival in a world that too often mistakes coercion for consent.
Yeah. So relevant.
Right? So I remember years ago, I must have been 19. I was walking home from a retail gig with a friend of mine, Nina. We're walking home, it was like 11:30 at night. It's dark. And I'm walking her to her apartment, and then I head home after, right? And this Jeep pulls up. We're on a dark street. This Jeep pulls up. Four guys get out of the car, big dudes. They surround my friend Nina. And it looks like I'm not even there. And they're like, "Where are you going? You need a ride?" And she's like, I'm good. I'm just walking home with my friend here." And I try to kind of be present, but it's also me being like, what the fuck is going on? Right? And they back off and they get back in the Jeep and drive off. And that was one of those moments where I was just like, what just happened there?
Yeah.
But the conversation starts before they even pulled over, before they even saw my friend, right? Like when I talk to guys, I talk about navigating life, speaking in a language of consent. I think we think about, like, like for some of us, for some of us, we will indicate before we turn or we to change lanes. We will, open the door after you. There's certain social etiquette and cues around speaking consent, right? Do you mind if can I grab, but then for some reason in these conversations, um, the thought is that consent starts once we get to the bedroom, we get naked. Now, no, the conversation started before we even meet the person, right?